So this week is recognized as National Work Zone Awareness Week. It's to help reach zero fatalities in construction areas. So this morning, Ansley Watson is at MDOT in Ishpeming to learn more about that. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. That's right. We're going to end up making that number zero. That's for sure. Joining me this morning is Dan Weingarten. He's a communications representative for MDOT here in Ishpeming. Good morning.
Good morning, Ansley. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm okay.
So this week we're talking all about work zone awareness, safety awareness. Why? I mean, we all know why it's important, but you guys are really pushing it this week.
Right, we're pushing it this week as part of a national effort to move towards zero deaths. That's our overall safety goal. There's never an acceptable number of fatalities or serious accidents. And so we're doing it now because it's springtime. This is when we start to see the orange barrels come up on the side of the roads. And we want everybody to be aware that construction is starting on a lot of projects over the next couple of weeks. And when they see those construction zones, they need to slow down.
And we have some pretty interesting stats. This campaign started back in 2000.
Right.
Do you have stats from the early 2000s of what those fatalities or serious injuries were till now?
Right. Back in the early 2000s, when this became a nationwide observation, there were something like 140 serious injuries, accidents in Michigan every year in work zones, and 19 or 20 people every year dying. And now that number has gone down a little bit to the point where we have 75 serious injuries last year, and but we've had an uptick, 17 fatalities last year, up from 15 the year before. So things are not moving in the right direction in the last few years. And we believe that that's because people are just not they're not driving with their full attention, basically, and that's why this year's theme for Work Zone Safety Awareness Week is the safety is in your hands. We need to remind everybody that the primary safety factor when you're driving is you, the driver. More than 90% of all traffic crashes are caused by some kind of driver error, and we want to have people be aware of how they're driving, how fast they're driving, and what their distractions are while they're driving, and just focus on the road and be safe, especially when you're in a construction zone where there are contractors and MDOT inspectors working really only inches away from where cars are traveling pretty fast.
I found another interesting stat where the fatalities or a lot of those crashes affected the drivers a lot too.
The drivers or the people in the vehicles, 4 out of 5 of the people injured or killed in work zone crashes are actually people in the vehicles, not the workers. So it's dangerous for workers, but it's also dangerous for people driving through work zones if they're not careful.
Let's get more in depth with those distractions. What are some of those distractions? How can people prevent this?
Well, cell phones are a huge distraction in cars these days. Anecdotally, I mean, we've all seen people driving around with their eyes down at something in their car, and that means they're not keeping their eyes on the road. So cell phones are a big issue that we want to remind people not to deal with while they're driving. Keep your eyes on the road and eliminate all kinds of distractions. Another thing, cars are just getting more complex. Entertainment systems, navigation systems, all of these things can take away your attention from the road. So especially in work zones, stay alert and slow down and be prepared for unexpected things to happen, because there are traffic shifts, and there are pieces of heavy equipment in work zones that you need to be aware of when you're driving.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. Later in the hour, we'll talk about those upcoming construction projects that we can be looking out for in the UP. Stay with us. Reporting live in Ishpeming, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
All right, thank you very much, Ansley. Of course, as we start up, spring does lead to that construction season, so it's a timely reminder for us.
Yes. Aiming to reach zero fatalities within a construction area, MDOT is explaining how Work Zone safety is in your hands. Ansley is back now to continue telling us about Work Zone Awareness Week. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Andrew. It's all about the safety this morning. Check out this get up. I'm really safe. Dan Weingarten is joining me this morning. Was that funny?
Yeah, you are very safe, and I'm
You are
trying to be safe here too. Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
wearing orange, which is great.
Well, this is a big push for you guys to have people wear orange during this week to get people aware of the work zone safety.
Right.
What is this campaign?
This is the National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. And yeah, we're asking everybody tomorrow especially to wear some orange, you know, a tie, a special orange shirt, you know, if you've got a personal protective vest like this, wear that. Take a selfie, post it on social media, and we've got some hashtags that you can use to help spread the word.
Yeah, I was just talking, it's amazing how if you're a worker on the road, you want to focus on your job, not necessarily what's around you, and cars are so close to you when you're working out there.
They can be just a few inches away from live traffic, contractors, MDOT inspectors, other people who have to be out on the job. It's a dangerous workplace, and they have to always be aware of where they are in relation to traffic. And if you slow down by just a few miles an hour, it can really make their job much safer and much easier for them to do their work, which is, after all, you know, trying to make everybody's roads safer for all of us who drive on them.
Earlier, you were talking about how people really get in a habit whenever they drive, and they get used to the roads and where they're driving, that when a construction project comes up, they may not realize it and pass through quickly. What are some of those construction projects coming up in the UP so people are more aware?
Right. All of our projects are listed on the michigan.gov/drive, MyDrive website. We try to keep that up to date so people know when they're going into effect. We have a couple coming up soon. M553 is going to have a project on the Glasses Curve area south of Marquette Mountain Ski Hill. That should be starting later this week, possibly as soon as tomorrow. There's the big Escanaba River Bridge replacement project, which is a 2-year project. That'll be between Gladstone and Escanaba. That'll be getting underway around the 17th of April. And then we've got the Marquette roundabouts, 2 new roundabouts on the US 41 bypass area for the new hospital that the city of Marquette is building. And that will also be middle to end of April. So some projects in busy parts of the Upper Peninsula that'll be getting underway soon. Perfect places for people to practice being alert and watching out for the work zones.
Last year alone, there was 17 deaths in work zones, but we need to get away from those numbers, like you said earlier as well. These are people with families and friends.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics are important, but we should remember that every one of those numbers, every one of those 17 people who were killed and 75 who were seriously injured, those are folks who have loved ones who have been traumatized by what might have just been a split second of inattention on the part of a driver. And most of these deaths and serious injuries are preventable. So we want everybody to take safety into their own hands and remember that when they're behind the wheel, they're the primary safety factor in a car. Stay alert, don't be distracted, and slow down when you're in a work zone.
I would say that's the biggest piece of advice right there. Just don't be distracted.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much for being with us
Thank
this
you,
morning.
Ainsley.
No problem. Reporting live in Ishpeming, Ansley Watson, and we'll be back with more of your TV6 Morning News after the break.